I'm in the grocery store the other day, and there's this mom, and she has a 2.5, somewhere 3-year-old, let's call them three, little 3-year-old with her. And you've probably seen this, but the 3-year-old had decided that in the cereal aisle, he wanted Fruit Loops. Didn't want anything healthy. He just wanted Fruit Loops. And he was not going to go anywhere out of that cereal aisle until he got the Fruit Loops. So he starts his protest. He's got the Fruit Loops in his hands. He will not let that box go. He's holding on to it for dear life. He sat himself down on the floor and he started to scream. The very typical 3-year-old tantrum in the middle of the grocery store. Poor mom, you can see she's just, cringing inside. You can see that look of that pained look on her face of like, oh my God, child, pick another time, pick another time. And at this moment, the mother kind of has a couple of options because we've all seen this before, and we've seen various ways of dealing with it. We've seen the moms who will just leave the child in the cereal aisle and go moving along. And she just leaves him, and eventually the child gives up, drops the cereal, runs after mom because he doesn't want to be left behind. Great move, mom. Now, there's also the mom that sits there and fights with the child. And they're in the cereal aisle for good 20 minutes, half an hour, having a fight in the middle of the grocery store. Meanwhile, everybody else is avoiding the cereal aisle. I'll come back to that later, right? That kind of move. And then there's the mom that sits down on the floor with the child and has a quick discussion. What's going on? Why do you need the cereal? Let's have a little talk about this. And oftentimes this is really quick. They get the child on board, and then she's able to pick the child up, put them into the cart, and she can just sail through the grocery store with ease after that. Now, there's lots of different ways of working with children, but I want you to think in terms of the child represents your subconscious mind. That part of your brain that is always on alert to try to keep you safe. But the thing is that sometimes your subconscious mind acts like a 3-year-old trying to get Fruit Loops. Not necessarily helpful, not necessarily on board with where you want to go. And when it comes to your business, oftentimes what happens is that we get going down that cereal aisle. We're like, we're going to pick out the granola. We're going to go super healthy. And our subconscious mind is like, nay, 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 beach. We are having the Fruit Loops, right? And starts to have a temper tantrum. Now, this is not cognitive and it doesn't show up as obvious as the 3-year-old having a temper tantrum, otherwise we'd be able to identify it. But it sounds like us. It sounds like our own voice going, well, you know, our subconscious mind gets a little smarter, makes up great reasons why we should have the Fruit Loops and not the granola, why we should do the things that we want to do, the things that are going to distract us from our path and moving forward in our business, as opposed to those things that, the subconscious is like, that's not going to be fun. Oh, everybody's going to hate us. Oh, don't do that. We won't make any money doing that. That's a really dumb topic. Or, oh, the ones I love. We need to find an expert to help us to do that because we're not smart enough to do it on our own. Even though you're super high level accomplished, you have all kinds of evidence. You have awards. Maybe you've won a gold medal in the Olympics even. I've seen this. I've seen people who are Olympians and still feel like they need to defer to an expert because of programming that happens earlier on in life. And this is the thing, is that the subconscious mind gets programmed at very early, tender ages before we're even verbal and able, so we can't really articulate what's going on, but there's this need to keep us safe. So when we realize what's going on behind the scenes with our subconscious mind, when we realize that really what's happening is that the subconscious mind wants to keep us safe, and anything that is new and foreign feels unsafe, then we're going to have all this resistance that comes up. And it comes up in a lot of different ways. Like the subconscious mind is super creative. It is the most creative 3-year-old on the planet, okay, comes up with lots of ideas. And I see it, like I said, it shows up a lot in, I need to hire another expert. I need to hire somebody to help me with my sales. I need to hire somebody to help me with create the perfect funnel and get all the systems in place. all of this deferring out to somebody else as opposed to recognizing, all right, where are my skills? First assessing what's going on and then looking for a piece of information or that one little nugget. Yes, I totally believe in working with experts, but first know who you are, know what that missing piece is so that you can recognize it when you go out looking for it and you don't defer and give away your power. So that's the first thing. Our subconscious mind will love to make us go looking for experts. And I see this again and again, people spending, $25, $30, $50, $100,000 on mastermind programs that they didn't really need, that didn't really move the needle a whole lot. And it's really sad because when you're going out and taking programs, you should be doing something that's going to move you forward. But if you're doing it from the subconscious mind telling you that that's what you need, then you're not going to get the results. That's the thing. We have to do that inner work in order to really lean in and trust ourselves as the expert as opposed to these external gurus. So that's one of the big things that I see is showing up in business. Now, one of the other things that really shows up is the doubt of ourselves, which is very similar, but usually it comes in the forms of, oh, don't bother doing that. Oh, no, that'll never work. Or don't even bother taking that program. That's just going to be another piece of crap. All of these kinds of things come popping up, these mental chatter that don't feel so good, that make us feel small and weak and like, forget it, I'll just have a glass of wine, just giving up. That is another way that the subconscious mind kind of hijacks us. And then the third one that I love that's kind of subtle is our family or our friends or, things external to us going into crisis. Our car breaks down. Suddenly, like at my house, we've had 10 floods in 11 years. It's kind of crazy. I know, but we are fixing it. They're all different all different areas, but little things like that, like it can be just a flood. It can also be our subconscious mind hijacking the situation, taking us off course. So you want to be aware of when the subconscious mind is coming in, taking advantage of you, pulling you off course. And this is where the work that I do is really, really critical in changing the subconscious patterning so that that trigger, that alarm trigger doesn't fire and you don't end up with these programs that keep you looped into thinking that you're broken, fucked up, or are not the actual expert in your own business. That's the key. So super successful people still have these things. It's amazing. You think, oh, they're past it. But I see it coming up again and again that even though you have high levels of success, there's still these layers of doubt. There's these layers of programs that are still stuck in the system. And by removing these layers, removing this resistance, you can actually allow yourself to up level with more ease. So rather than being the mom that drags the kid around the grocery store and that episode, that whole experience being really long and painful, you take a moment to drop down and you talk to your child and you get them on board and then they're in the cart and you can just whiz through the grocery store with super ease. So that's the difference. I would love to get your subconscious mind wrangled in place and cooperating with you. So head over to bookdana.in and let's get you up leveled with ease.